Hello everyone. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Dr. Faiz Shaikh. Today we'll be discussing about the cost of medical post-graduation in Germany. The numbers that social media never shows you. So a little bit about myself. If you've attended the webinars, you know me already. I've done my MBBS in Maharashtra and India. I arrived here in Germany in 2019, and this year I became a Facharzt in Neurosurgery. Helped a lot of doctors come here to Germany, and that is how we started MedZeal. And our goal is to guide doctors here who are coming to Germany. And it is a very complicated path with no clear guidelines and a very personalized path. That is why we have started this personalized support for everyone. And now, since we're specialists here, we know the ins and outs of the system, and that is how we help you. So today we are going to be discussing about the myth. Firstly, what are the costs? Then we'll break down all the costs, so there will be a lot of numbers. Then about funding and scholarship options that you guys might have. Then how can you earn once you're already in Germany and before your FSP? And this, mind you, this is before your FSP. And then also the numbers, that how much do you earn in your post graduation? How much do you earn once you have completed your post graduation? What do the future prospects look like? And then why is the salary less in comparison, the on paper salary and the salary that you receive in your account, why is that less? We'll discuss into that. And then how much time does it take to recover everything, and how we help you. So let's get started. Firstly, the medical graduation in Germany is free. So just a second. Okay. So the medical graduation in Germany is free. That's true, but only partially. The post graduation itself has no cost. There you are earning, but the cost of getting there, this is what nobody talks about. So what the actual cost looks like. To learn the language, I've gone through the Goethe India, the recent numbers. It's roughly around 2 lakh rupees or 1800 euros. For the documentation at the station, roughly around 45,000. For your visa, health insurance, this would be again 45,000. The visa is not so much. The health insurance part is what is more costlier. And just a second. Yeah. And the FSP course and the exam course, this is the most costly part of your journey. That is around 12,000 or 13 lakhs, we would say, to sum it up. 13 lakhs or 11,600. And the blocked account which you need for your visa, that is around again another 13 lakhs. So these are the total costs that you have to prepare when you're planning to Germany. But the good part is you don't need all of this money upfront when you're planning. You need them just one by one. So first, what you need is obviously to learn the German language. This is the most important investment. You need to go through all the levels: A1, A2, B1, B2.1, and B2.2. This is roughly around 1,42,000. And then each level, if you give the exam, that adds up to 60,000. But what you can here do is you can also just directly give the B2 exam, and then you can save some costs. So it's depending on person to person basis. If you feel confident enough that you will give the main B2 exam and just clear it, then you could do that. This would take roughly around 14 to 18 months. People do it obviously much faster as well. And nowadays with private tutors and all, you can also reduce the cost and get it done much faster. So the language, like I said, is the foundation of everything. It is most important word. So you have to invest your time and money in this. This is the most important part of your journey. Then the document and attestation. So you need your degree, your mark sheets, your registration, your internship. If you are postgraduate, then your post-graduation degree. All of these needs to be get translated. So there are different requirements depending on state, depending on where you are from. So you might need to go to the Ministry of External Affairs to get the documentation, get the apostille done. You will definitely need to go to the German embassy to get the attestation done. They may charge you either per document, or sometimes they give you one set for free, depending on the embassy. And then you have to go to the translator. The translations are per line basis, so it depends on how many documents you need to get translated. So the cost can really add up. So roughly, what we have seen from our students' experience, the cost can range from 30 to 60,000 rupees. So then the visa cost. Now this is most important. The actual visa cost is 75 euros, which is like 8,000 rupees. And then you have VFS charge. You need health insurance, but this you need once you already are in Germany. So this is a expense for later on, not immediately. But if you consider the visa and the health insurance and all of that, so that amounts to roughly 45,000 to 50,000 rupees. So one important thing, there's a risk of visa rejection if you don't plan your documents properly. If there's insufficient funding, rejection is possible. That is why it is really important that you're guided properly. With us through MedSeal, all of our students have gotten their visa. Until now, everyone has got their visa, and we have 100% acceptance rate. So now coming to the FSP and KP exams, these are the most important and the costliest part of your journey. So the FSP exam is the language exam where they test your skills. You need B2 to register for this. In most of the states that you apply, you need B2 language to register for it. And once you pass this exam, you can get a temporary license to work. And Kenntnisprüfung is the main exam, that is a clinical knowledge exam. You need to clear this to get your license. So the preparation courses, depending on your state, it can be around 5 to 7,000 euros. The exam fees can be 300 to 400 euros. The KP preparation course, again, 5 to 7,000 euros. And the KP exam fees, again, 500 to 600 euros. And then the approbation application. So all of this just really adds up, and it can go around from 11,000 to 14,000 euros worth of expenses, which is roughly around 13 to 16 lakhs of rupees that you need to have and to show for your visa also once for the preparation. So now one very interesting thing, what we can give you is the funding. So this changes everything now. Like we said, it may be 15 to 16 lakhs just for the courses. We have a very good option. We are in touch with courses in different cities, in different states, which are applicable to funding. So you can get an FSP and KP preparation course through government funding. It is possible to get you. The eligibility depends obviously on your registration status, on your state that you apply in. And we guide all our doctors to get this funding so that we are able to not just save their time, give them a good class, but also save them money in the process. So now all of our doctors have in some or the other way of gotten funding, which has drastically reduced their burden that they had to deal with. And most doctors, most important thing is a lot of classes are associated, or a lot of agents are associated with classes that do not have this service, and they charge you an exorbitant amount just to get that money out of you. And that I find is really unnecessary. So now obviously it is important to know that the funding is in the direction of the German government. They are the ones who decide if you get the funding or not. But again, all of our students have until date gotten funding in one or the other form for a minimum of at least 5,000 euros. So now one more cost that you have is the blocked account. So the blocked account is basically your expenses that you put in as a guarantee to the government that this money is mine and I have this money to use it for my expenses in Germany. So the blocked account current amount is around 13 lakhs 21,000, and you have a small fee for opening all of this, but this is your money. Nobody uses this money, nobody touches this money. Once you arrive in Germany, you get this money back. So this is not really an expense in per se. This is your money that will be for your use later on. And alternatively, we have got students asking us about the Verpflichtungserklärung. This is the alternate to the blocked account. If you have family or friends in Germany who you can prove that you have close ties to, they can provide legal guarantee that they will take care of you if the need comes, and in this case, the blocked account may not be required. So basically, to sum it up, the language, we have around roughly, now these are rough numbers, I've just summed it up for easy clarification. So for the language, you have 2 lakhs rupees. The best is the Goethe Institute, they are the official website where you learn them, the documents and attestation, like we discussed, 45,000. Visa is visa is only just 10,000, but the rest of it is for the health insurance, which is activated once you come to Germany. The main bulk cost is the FSP courses, the exams and the approbation. So now these can range from 10, 11 to 13 lakhs or maybe 15 lakhs in some cases, depending on which state and where you apply. And all of these, there's a possibility of getting the funding. So the gross total, if you want to say a rough number, I would say at least 15 to 20 lakhs is what you should have in mind as the expenses that you will have when you're planning to come to Germany. And this is excluding your blocked account. So now we at M.Ch, we have our fees around 5 to 10 lakhs. It depends on the plan that you take. We'll discuss about this plan later on. And so the total, through our guidance and with our funding, we can drastically reduce your cost to around 10 to 15 lakhs, depending on what plan you take and how much funding you get. So let's say, for example, you have 15 lakhs worth of cost and you are paying 5 lakhs to MedSeal for your fees, and we are able to get all of this funded for you. So basically, you're just left with 5 to 10 lakhs of expenditure in such cases. So that is where we come in. One or both courses funding is possible, but like I said, the decision depends and rests with the government agency. And the blocked account, this money is returned to you monthly on arrival on personal expenses. So that was all about the cost that the expenditure that you're going to have, but there's also a lot of ways where you can earn that money back. And that is where we also come in, because we have a lot of students or friends in here who came to Germany and then they needed financial support. They wanted to know how they can work and to sustain their life here in Germany. So once you get the visa, you're allowed to work depending on your visa, obviously, but generally 20 hours per week is what they allow now students to work before FSP also. This is obviously not a medical job. You can have jobs maybe like you withdraw blood in hospitals, or you act as a support staff in hospitals or clinics. And here there's a possibility that monthly you can earn around 1,050 to 1,200 euros, and with tax deducted it can be around 830 to 1,000 euros monthly that you earn as soon as you land in Germany, along and apart from your blocked account. So your blocked account releases 992, and along with that, part-time, if you're working, you can roughly earn around 800 to 1,000 euros per month, which roughly makes it to 2,000 euros total income while you're preparing for your FSP. So as you can see, it is quite possible to sustain yourself once you are here in Germany as well. And even if you are tight on funds, you can obviously, once you are here in Germany, there's this possibility as well that you can immediately start working and making some money. But the main game obviously begins once you start the FSP. So once you have you get a temporary license. You can apply for a temporary license, and once you have the temporary license, this is your direct salary. You have 5,533 euros monthly salary. This is the gross salary, on paper salary, and what you get in hand is around 3,300 euros. This varies depending on your state and your tax class and all of that, but we'll discuss that in detail. So as soon as you have cleared your FSP exam, you can apply for a temporary license and start earning this salary on a monthly basis. This salary is more than the average German salary. So what an average German earns, you earn directly as soon as you clear your FSP, more than that on a monthly basis. And as you can see here, as your experience increases from year 1 to year 2, year 3, and so on, your salary increases along with it as well. On top of that, this is only for the 40-hour work week. If you're working extra, your night duties, your weekend duties, your public holidays, your overtimes, they get paid extra. So let's say you have to do 3 to 4 duties per month, you can easily reach a number of 4 and 4,500 in a hospital. Those are common numbers that a beginner as a resident or even after clearing your FSP earns. And this is more than enough to live comfortably here in Germany. So, and how does it progress once you have cleared your KP exam and your assistant arts? So like we discussed, the salary goes on increasing as you go about it. So it goes on from around 3,000 to 3,800 to 4,000 euros on a monthly basis. If you go to see in rupees, obviously it's 73 to 90 lakhs. Then once you're a specialist, the number increases. Obviously, you're around at a yearly rate of 88k to 100k, which is around 1.1 cr, and this salary you're earning on a monthly basis around 4.2 to 4.8 thousand. And once you are a senior consultant, then obviously it goes much higher, and you are the head of the Latin over arts, it's called deputy head. There also then the salary increases, and if you're the HOD, then obviously sky's the limit. These are just rough numbers what HODs earn, but it is much more in reality. So basically, the more as you go on, you can see there's a structured possibility, and there's a government controlled minimum salary. Mind you, these are the minimum salaries required by the government that a hospital needs to pay you at this level. And if you decide, okay, I want to open my own clinic, I want to have my own thing, that is also possible. Once you finish your Facharzt, you can, it's called Niederlassung. And then, as you can see, radiologists, they have a big investment. Obviously, you have to buy CTs and MRIs, but the average numbers in Germany, they point to 1.1 million a year, and after tax, in monthly, around 30 to 50,000 euros a month. Yes, that is right. This is how much you can earn as a radiologist. But obviously, this is not including the big amount of loan that you might have to take for your clinic or for your radiology clinic. Then in the surgical field and in the non-surgical field, you can see there's also a good amount of salary that you can earn on a monthly basis, much more what you earn in a hospital, at around 10,000 to 13,000 and 8 to 10,000 euros a month. And these are just the average numbers all across Germany. So let's say if you're even in a small village in Germany, this is what the numbers look like. In a big city, obviously the numbers rise up, and this is all available on the website called Facharzt. This is their data. This is not what we are saying or hallucinating. This is what the official data from our official website is. You can check them out online as well. So now you're wondering, okay, we're seeing huge salaries, but then why is the netto amount, which is the amount of in hand, so low? So where does this money go? So firstly, income tax. Obviously, Germany is the land of income tax. You cannot escape it. There's no alternate to it. This is, so let's say, for example, this Dr. R, he earns 10,000 on paper salary per month. Where does his money go? So around 2,900 is deducted for tax purposes, which is then obviously used in the government, this thing. Then there is 785, which is deducted for your pension. Your health insurance is deducted. Your long-term insurance is deducted, and your unemployment insurance is deducted. So let's say in case you're unemployed, you get 60% of salary for up to 12 to 24 months, so that in case some disaster falls up, you are still getting at least a base salary. So with all of that deductions, around 4.4 thousand euros is deducted, and what you get in hand is around 5,600 euros. So obviously that is a lot when you look at it, but if you look at the big picture, there's a lot what you get from it as well. Firstly, your health insurance is covered. This is the main expenditure. What I personally feel people have, your family is covered in under it. There are no limits, there are no claims, no rejections. There are the basic things, that the emergency things that you need in case of any kind of emergency, any emergency operation that you need is always and always will be covered under your insurance, which drastically reduces the burden on you. Then you get free education with your children. Your schools and universities are funded. There are no need coaching and all of those fees required here. Then the doctor's pension, you get a good pension because the doctors run their separate pension fund, which is obviously invested, and they earn a much higher than the German average. The pension is much higher than the German average, which is around 1,200 euros. Here it is around 3,000 to 4,500 euros. And the job loss protection, so like I said, 60% of your salary, you get it even if you have lost your job. So in this case, if you say 10,000, then 60% would be 6,000. But they have a cap limit of around 2,500, I think. So that's the realistic number that you will get even if you do not have a job. So you get a little money in your account. You have time then to search for a new job in case you lose your job. Then one more extra insider tip. So this is what not a lot of people will tell you. Let's say you do not get funding, or the courses that you have paid for, the material that you have used, all of this is tax deductible. As you saw there, you are already going to be paying a lot of tax, so might as well claim it all back from the tax. So now these things are possible to get it in your tax deduction. This happens obviously later on once you're earning, once you do your tax returns. So roughly, let's say 7,000 euros is claimable. So what would that look like when you apply for your tax returns? So let's say this is your salary as a first-year resident, 66,000 yearly, and if you just let it run on its own, you're paying a tax of 17,000 euros, 17,500 euros to the government. And what happens is once you deduct this, you're paying then 15,000 tax is what you should have paid to the government. So the government returns you this 2,500 euros that you have paid extra. So it is very, very important also later on in life, once you are here, to find out the tax, the things that are tax deductible, and utilize them to get some money back. This is also a step that will help you. You can also take the help of a Steuerberater. But this is very important because you just throw away all of this. You throw away extra 2,500, that's 2.5 lakhs of money, just because you don't know about it. So it is important that you maximize everything and everything that is possible financially to reduce your burden. Then let's say now you're a first-year resident, assistant arts in a mid-sized German city. You have made a total investment of 20 lakhs around here. And like we discussed, your salary is around 5,000 here, and your tax is paid, then you get a salary of 3,400. roughly you could say maybe 2,000 euros, 2,500 euros is the normal expenses. It depends on your lifestyle, but these are the normal expenses that people have here in Germany. So you still have a saving of around 1,000 to 1,500 euros. And here in this case, now let's say you do not get any kind of funding, you have paid the complete amount, including our fees and everything. In that scenario, you will take 10 to 12 months to recover all your money. Now, let's say one of your courses, let's say your KP course gets funded, where we are able to reduce your cost to 15 lakhs, then this is done much earlier in 7 to 8 months. And likewise, if both your courses are funded, then your fees gets reduced to, sorry, this is a mistake here, that's 10 lakhs. Uh, there you are able to get it in 5 to 6 months. So in every scenario, the best case or the worst case, within a year of you starting to work, you are able to get back your investment. And this is not possible in other countries. So just to sum it up, you have firstly costs for your classes, then you're able to deduct them, you're able to get funding for them. Once you land in Germany, you're able to earn that money back. And once you start earning, like I said, in 6 months, maximum 1 year, all the money is back in your account. Your investment is done, and above that, you're just saving. Okay. How MedSeal helps. So we have, like we've discussed in the previous webinars as well, we always help you from A to Z. We are there completely for you with the German language guidance, document attestation, and basically every step we are there to help you. We have 3 plans depending on how much help you need. So there's the Panda plan, which is self-driven doctors who just need occasional guidance. There's a Kangaroo plan where there is more guidance to you. And there's a Lion plan where there is complete end-to-end handling from our side for you guys. Okay, so that was all the numbers. If you have any questions, please write them down in the chat. We'll discuss them. We'll start in around 3 to 5 minutes again, and we'll discuss them in detail. This video will be available on YouTube, so you can check out the numbers anytime. And obviously, please remember, these are rough numbers according to the current date. They can vary, they can change in the next 6 months. They might not be the actual numbers. They might be some, the numbers might go up or down. And same thing applies for funding and all of that that we have mentioned. The decision obviously rests with the government. Okay, so we'll start with the questions. So the first question is, there's a new thing called recognition partnership. Can you explain it and tell if it's legit? Yeah, there's a program called recognition partnership, but this is only for select number of countries, and it's not realistic. I'll be honest with you, and it's out of the scope of this webinar. So you can just mail us if you want to know more about it. But like I said, it's not realistic. No hospital is going to give a job offer on A2 level and let you find something. The realistic way to do it is, like I said, after you finish your FSP, apply for a temporary license. Then you have a chance of getting a job in a hospital here. Internship completion, yes, it's definitely mandatory. Can you provide a little insight on non-clinical roles one can apply for after MBBS in Germany? So the non-clinical roles, I'm assuming you mean once you have come to Germany and you are working here on this 20 hours work week. So there's no compulsion that you need to work only in a non-clinical role. You can, there are students who just pick up shifts and work odd jobs in restaurants or in supermarkets, or as a doctor, you can work in, like I said, in a hospital. So I had a lot of colleagues who were working in a hospital that needed like 20 or 30 patients needed to draw blood, or in clinics where they were working at the reception or doing small tests which are legally allowed. For that, you do not need to be a licensed doctor. So these things can be given to students. These are called student jobs then, and we help you also when if you join the MedSeal, we help you also to find them in case you require them. But like I said, they pay around, I'll just go back to the slide. So yeah, so you get around 800 to 1000 euros monthly, which is actually sufficient amount to sustain yourself here. Okay, we've already discussed this. Do you also offer preparation? No, we do not offer any courses. So, like I said, we are a personalized approach. We are not linked to any classes because then that restricts us to one state or one city. What we do is we find the best route for you. So, if you say you want to go to Bayern, we find the best classes where you're able to get funding, where you're able to go in a good class, where we know students have been to, and then that is how we help figure out the route for you. But we ourselves do not, as of now, do not provide any FSP and KP course preparation classes. We assist you in that process. So basically, if anybody, from my personal experience, my FSP and KP course classes prepared me only 50%. What prepared me was talking to other doctors, what they had, their experience, what questions they had, and this is where we come in. We tell you exactly how to study, what are the important topics you need to study, and where to focus on, depending on your state and what questions are important. The cost for panda, kangaroo, and lion plans, you can just mail us. We'll send you a PDF over. They range from 5 to 10 lakhs, like I said. Um, just send us a mail and we'll send them to you. So, can I do a job while preparing for the exam? Yes, definitely. At every stage that you're there, you can do. You can do a job while preparing for it. So let's say you're learning a language in India or in your home country. You can work side by side in your home country. Once you are in Germany, you can immediately start working with student jobs. Once you pass your FSP, you can start working on the temporary license. And then, can we learn German language after landing in Germany, or is it mandatory to learn German language before landing? So obviously, it makes more sense if you land in Germany and learn the German language. But sadly, the doctors are not allowed that way in India, especially. I myself tried this way, but I was told firstly to apply it for the German recognition visa and the 16D visa, and they did not allow or they did not give a visa just to learn the German language. In some countries, it is possible to do that, but in India, as of now, they do not give you the visa to learn German language and then convert it to a visa to get your degree recognition. You can obviously go on a Schengen visa and do classes in Germany, but that's not a long-term visa that you get. Okay, there are no more questions. So one more question has come up. Like I said, you can ask any questions that you want. At what point can we land in Germany the earliest? Once you have finished your B2 level and you have gotten a visa, so that process can take up to 1 and 1.5 years. So let's say you start now, you can expect 1 to 1.5 years to finish the language, to finish all the documentation process, and land in Germany. Sudan, sorry, I'll just check it. I've done my MBBS in Ukraine, FMG exam I finished. I'm doing my internship and learning B2. I have a query is that there are states that need license from both countries. Yeah, you can check out our FMG webinar. So the in the FMG webinar, Dr. Nigel, our FMG expert, he has discussed this topic in a lot of detail. But yeah, there are some states that require license in both countries. There are some states that accept your license only in just one country. So if you feel you're stuck or you do not know how to move ahead, contact us and we can um, for sure help you out. Find your way in a state that does not require license in both countries. If you have only license in one country, for example, so that is highly possible. That's definitely not an issue. You can also check out the webinar from Dr. Nigel on our webpage for more details. So, can you guide regarding research fellowships in Germany? Sorry, no, we are mostly focused on medical recognition into research fellow. We have not, right now, at least not expanded into that. What about non-clinical job in English language and EU blue card? Yeah, you can do a non-clinical job in English language also once you land here in Germany, but you won't get a blue card on that. So you are just allowed 20 hours work week, which does not meet the blue card criteria. And if you're a doctor and you're coming here and you wish that you want to do a English language job, I'm sorry, then this is not for you. So what you have to understand is if you're doing a non-clinical job after finishing your B2, do it in German. Your future depends on it. You need to learn the German language. If you're going to shy away and do it only in English, I'm sorry, you're not going to succeed in Germany. So my recommendation is if you come here, do it in German, the job, because it will help you improve your language. Masters in Germany doesn't require the language requirement. So post graduation does. If you're going for any other masters, I don't know, then you can search them for the other masters course, because we do not guide here for other masters courses in Germany. Some do, some do not. It depends on what you want to do your masters in. Yeah, FMGs can obviously apply. Like I said, you can check out our YouTube page for FMG webinar. Dr. Nigel has discussed this in abundant detail um, about how FMGs can apply, what are they facing. I will just post a link in the comment section so you guys can directly check it out. Give me a minute. Sorry. So there you go. I have sent the link to the FMG webinar in the comments. You can check it out. Okay, good. So I don't see any more questions here. All of the registered participants will be getting an email from us where you can contact us further. There's a special discount for the webinar students on your email. Uh, in case you need our guidance and more about it, you can just email us. And like I said, this will be put on live. This will be available on YouTube, so you can always check it out. I don't see any more questions, so that's it. Thank you all, and goodbye.